Hi everyone, it's Roger here from What's On at DisneyPlus.com. It's time for a quick Disney Plus news roundup. We're going to be talking about Futurama returning. I'm going to be talking about a brand new FX series and Secret Invasion not doing as well as we maybe would like. But before we go any further, make sure you do hit that subscribe button to keep up with the latest Disney Plus news. Okay, so let's start off with Secret Invasion. So obviously we've got the new second episode has dropped onto Disney Plus today, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. But we have got some new information regarding the first episode, which dropped last week. Samba TV has released some information about the viewership. Now, this is obviously based on their data. It's not based on Disney's data or anything like that. And unfortunately, it looks like it has not been a huge hit straight out the bat. It is actually the second lowest performing premiere, just behind Miss Marvel, which obviously came out last year. According to Samba TV, at 994,000 households in the United States and watched it over the first 5 days, which is slightly ahead of the Miss Marvel premiere, which was watched by 775,000 US households. Now, in comparison, looking at some of the other Marvel series from the past couple of years, Loki was watched by 2.5 million, Moon Knight was watched by 1.8, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier got the same, 1.8, Hawkeye was 1.5, and also She-Hulk was 1.5 million as well, but that was based over 4 days. Okay, so let's take a look at this information first off. And while it definitely seems like Secret Invasion hasn't hit the same point that we've seen with previous shows, I think there's some reasons for this. Now, first off, I think comparing to the first 2 years of Disney Plus isn't maybe really going to be comparable because we had the pandemic, which obviously meant a lot of us couldn't get out, and there wasn't a huge amount coming out. So when something did come out, you wanted to watch it, and there was a kind of a buzz around it, and everyone was online. And in general, and it's not just with Disney Plus, but if you look at like the Nielsen numbers or streaming numbers for everything right now, they are all much lower than they were like a year or two ago when you're comparing. And again, that was due to the pandemic, just really raised the amount of people watching it. So that's one little thing. There is also, superhero fatigue. There is fatigue about the MCU, and there's not as much excitement. A lot of people have been saying about the fact they didn't realize it was out, and there's not as much advertising. It's kind of weird with this advertising thing because they could spend millions of dollars advertising on television, but if you don't watch television, you're not going to see it. You know, if they do marketing advertising on social media, depending on what you're doing, you might not see it. Depends who you're following. It's very tricky with that kind of thing. They're putting out the trailers. They've been doing all the same kind of things they've done before, but maybe not at the same scale. Now, Disney has said that they are going to be scaling back how much advertising they do because ultimately, they can spend millions maybe, on advertising. It doesn't necessarily bring in an extra money. So it is very noticeable. I know when I was up in London this past weekend, I saw trailers and like posters for the Kardashians, but not for Secret Invasion. Because obviously limiting what they're pushing. But I think advertising has got an issue with it. Also just people I think are just burnt out, I think, on Marvel. And, some of the shows and stuff have had that impact. I really enjoyed it. I'm hoping more people tune it in. I'm sure as maybe word of mouth gets around with the show, things might improve. And also as well, this data is not from Disney and it's also only for the US, so internationally the numbers are going to be much bigger. But I do think Marvel is going to have to up its game, I think, to get more people to watch these shows. Maybe having less of them will mean now more people check it out. I've heard also people saying, well, I'm just going to wait and binge the whole lot. Some people are watching weekly. You're never going to please everyone. No matter which way Disney do it, people are going to be annoyed. If they do it all at once, people will moan. If they do it weekly, people will moan no matter what, regardless of what they do. But Disney definitely feel like, they're at a point now where they can't just rely on Marvel and Star Wars. And I'm hoping when we get all the Hulu content added into Disney Plus, we're really going to start seeing a little bit more variety. Leaning into that, Disney did put out a press release about the success of The Bear Season 2. Now, usually this is a good indication of a show as well when they actually put out the press release. They didn't do this for Secret Invasion, so that's usually a good indication they didn't do it as well. The Bear Season 2 pulled in 70% more audience than the first season. I think that's because there was so much word of mouth for that first season and people checking it out. They've all watched it and then they've come back for the second season in big numbers. It's the most watched show that's been on Hulu. It has been a huge success. I can't wait to watch the second season of The Bear. I really enjoyed the first one. Fortunately, here in the UK and on Disney Plus around the world, we've got to wait until July to watch it. But I'm really looking forward to it. And it's just, I think there's this kind of weird thing of like, you know, they've put out the announcement that it's done really well, which will make more people watch it because, yeah, it's just one of those things. But yeah, and I think this is going to be where Disney Plus is going to start benefiting in the US once it starts getting access to these kind of shows like The Bear, to take the pressure a little bit off of Marvel and Star Wars always being the content for the adults. But let me know, did you watch The Bear season 2 on Hulu? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that one. And also, did you watch Secret Invasion last week? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one too. Moving on from there, let's now talk about Futurama, which is going to be returning for 11th season. It's going to have 10 episodes. The first episode will be dropping on the 24th of July on Hulu in the United States, Star Plus in Latin America, and on Disney Plus around the world. It has been confirmed. We've had press releases today from the UK, also Australia and Canada. So it's all going to be coming out on the same day, on the Monday. So for 10 weeks, we're going to have new episodes of Futurama. Really looking forward to seeing the return of this. I think I need to jump in and do a little bit of binge watching to kind of catch up, because I used to watch it, but it's been so long, I don't know how many seasons I watched, as I watched them all, because it used to be, you know, linear, all the rest of it. But I'm really looking forward to this. The trailer, I think, looks a lot of fun, kind of tying in with some of today's modern issues, you know, like dealing with the pandemic and all kinds of stuff. So no, I think the Futurama series looks a lot of fun, and it's great to see that we're getting a global release for this one. This is what we should be seeing more of, and I'm hoping we do see more of this, because if they're releasing less content and they can get things sorted, like with dubbing and stuff, and focus much more on one series at a time. And speaking of that, FX has also announced that we're going to be getting A Murder at the End of the World. So this one's going to be coming out on August the 29th on Hulu in the United States, Disney Plus in the UK, Canada, Australia. It's not going to be in every country. There's still going to be a little bit of an issue, but this brand new one is all about being stuck on an island, and they're all kind of fighting for survival. It definitely sounds interesting. We saw like a 10-second teaser. Looking forward to this one. Again, this one is going to have 2 episodes to drop at the beginning, new episodes dropping weekly. So I was just putting together the lists for like September and stuff now, and already for September, when you put in Futurama, Only Murders in the Building, Ahsoka, and also now this new show, is already looking to be a really great month for great content. But yeah, are you looking forward to Murder at the End of the World? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Okay, so let's now jump into what's new on Disney Plus today. Big new release dates, lots of great stuff out. So obviously we had the 2nd episode of Secret Invasion. Really enjoyed the show. Now, I got to watch this one last week at a special premiere. I'm going to watch it again later today. And there's a few other things I watched this morning, because we also got all 8 seasons of Home Improvement. I did actually watch an episode and kind of was like, wow, this is really old. Yeah, so that one was released in the UK, Canada, Australia, and all over the place. So it was great to see this one finally coming out. Great to see some library content dropping onto Disney Plus. There was also some other new originals today, including the Latin American series Freaks. Internationally as well, we got Anthem, which is a new documentary. That one was released on Hulu in the United States, and again internationally. In addition to that, we got some new episodes of Weekend Family on Disney Plus around the world. Also in the United States, they got a new show, Home in the Wild. While down in Australia and New Zealand, they also got the FX series Great Expectations. And for Disney Plus subscribers in Canada, you got the entire season of A Small Light. So definitely check that show out. Really enjoyed it. Very powerful. Sad to see that it kind of got delayed in Canada, but again, linear and stuff is always a little bit tricky. But really a full packed end of the month. Lots of great stuff dropping in just ahead, obviously, of the July 4th weekend. There's going to be lots of great stuff there to watch. But let me know what you're going to be watching on Disney Plus this weekend. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. In our comment of the day, which comes from Mischief Maker, what I would like to know is who gets to decide what gets put out on Disney Plus in the first place, if I may ask that. Now, this is a really interesting question, because the question of who comes up with this and who comes up with what's coming onto Disney Plus keeps changing. It keeps, over the last few years, the leadership keeps changing, and ultimately now we're seeing where each of the individual studios are creating new content, and that's just automatically being put onto Disney Plus, and so therefore kind of takes away some of the elements. We definitely seem to be seeing now where shows are being essentially shared between linear and Disney Plus, so there's less of decision being made. A lot of times it's being done by the individual ones. There's no real like content creation team anymore like there used to be. And there used to be like Disney Plus were putting together teams. And then you've got like here in the UK, we've got different teams like commissioning stuff. In Canada there was teams, and in Korea and stuff. Every little country was kind of creating its own little thing. And, you know, we're seeing more of that coming in place now, rather than just one person or one team of people at Disney Plus saying we want this, we want that, we want them to go make this. Now each studio is kind of coming up with its own bits and pieces And yeah, so like Marvel Studios comes up with its ideas of what it wants to create. And there might be some issues coming in from Disney Plus of like, you know, what they want, but now it's been pulled much more back from them making the decisions about what content to make. Yeah, so there's a lot of different people making lots of different decisions in every different country and stuff. So it's not like any one particular person deciding what goes on there. Again, with library content, it can vary between countries and stuff. But yeah, there's teams all over the place coming up with ideas like this. But let me know, what do you think? Do you think they're doing a good job? Do you not? What would you like to see? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Remember to go check us out over at whatsondisneyplus.com. Like, follow, and subscribe. I shall see you guys tomorrow. Laters.